Mr. Nagib, thank you for accepting our invitation. Today our talk will be a bit about leadership, and I think nobody can speak more about leadership than the famous Naguib Sawiris. So welcome again.
Thank you.
Is there things that we do for success, but can we succeed alone, or do we need a team?
There is a formula, a simple formula. One is that you need to work very hard. So you need to be a hard worker. So if you think you're intelligent only is enough, it's not enough. Second rule is you need to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Third, you have to believe in God, in my opinion, because if you believe in God, then you are widening your power, because God will give you His power, and then really everything becomes much more easier and simpler, and you have His power, and you will succeed much more with His power than on your own. You have the right to be an atheist, then you're on your own, so you can decide.
So the idea of spirituality for leaders, do you believe that's something?
Yeah, it's important because it's part of having a conscience. It's part of also having principles.
Yeah.
It's very important. The fifth rule is don't choose any side roads. Go straight, be straight, and be honest. Because if you try to take shortcuts or yield to dishonesty, and that's a shortcut, you will never succeed like that. I think these are the basics, and then the question whether you can succeed alone or you need a team, you can succeed alone. It depends what you're doing. If you're a singer, let's say, and a successful star,
yep,
you can sing alone, or you can decide to be part of a band. But if you're even without the band, you will succeed.
Yes,
You've seen it. And the same thing if you're an entrepreneur with partners or alone. What is your question should be is, as a successful leader, you need a team, obviously. You need a good team. And if you're a good leader, you will have a good team.
And that will be the next question. How would you pick your team?
I pick my team on all these rules of success that I told. So I need people who are sure of themselves, they're self-confident. I need people who are honest, hardworking. I want also people who believe in God. I would have a difficulty hiring an atheist, because believing in God also puts constraints on you, that you have to adhere to His rules and to His requests and so on, so you're in better hand.
We live in a very uncertain world, and then the work that your companies will be doing is different markets, and it's a lot of uncertainty. So if you are going into a new market with a lot of uncertainties, how you usually navigate those uncertainties that are happening on an everyday basis?
You have to follow on them, you have to be very up to date, whether it's the news or internally in the country, you need to know what's going on. I read local newspapers of the countries where I work at.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're very informative, So you need to be aware of everything, but why do you go to areas of uncertainty and high risk? And the answer is very simple, is the high risk is high profit, low risk is low profit. So you can decide which way you want to go. It's like when you go to the casino. Some people put the chips on red or black, so it's a 1-to-1 chance.
Yes.
And some people put their money on a number.
That's true.
So different characters.
My next question is about how to navigate uncertainty into those local markets. So let's suppose that we have a market in one Arab or African country, more uncertainty, but there are different opinions about your investment. There are people who are welcoming you, people who are less. How can you navigate the factions around that?
You have to work on the population itself, because if you have to get liked by the population, you have to avoid conflicts and avoid being against one faction against the other. And the first one is an advice that I never follow. You shouldn't get involved in politics. And
that was my next question.
But I do, which is not always good, And you have to show that you're doing good for the country. But if you are in a country where the regime is not democratic and it's totalitarian, or it's a dictator and like that, then you are at the mercy of the ruler.
Yeah.
So you have to know that at any time and point, your investment can be wiped out.
Next question was, you somehow partially answered it, is about the politics. We know that you are very vocal on social media. You are not also shying away from saying, I have a political opinion, and usually, especially in our part of the world, that comes with repercussions. So how to keep the business alive while having an opinion on the public sphere in general?
It's very difficult, but it's also not good for a human being to be, there's a saying that says, evil wins whenever good people don't speak out against it. So evil prevails when the good people don't speak against it, So it's been difficult for me to see something bad and not voice about it, So The easiest solution is not to go where in countries where you criticize its leadership, you know.
Yeah.
It's the easiest solution, you know. Or not to criticize the leadership in the countries you are in, which I also sometimes don't follow.
My next question is about failure. So usually we want to focus on the shiny part of success story, you made it. But on that way, there were a lot of failures. Was there a moment that you felt like that failure was defining but was helpful at the end, that you learned really from?
When I fail, I try again.
Yeah.
And I keep on trying until I win. This is my motto, is I will never accept failure. You have to be strong, not at the first obstacle you surrender and you say, I failed. Who says you failed? Try again and try again and try again, you know.
So my last question is, what would be a good message to those who are considering business leadership, going into the market, especially these days?
I always tell young people to stick to the private sector, go to the private sector, work in the private sector, learn the methodology of the private sector. And then when you feel you are ready, you can spin off and start your own. That's my best advice, especially when you are in America here, and America is the land of opportunities. And it's open to entrepreneurs, and I don't think there's any other environment anywhere in the world that encourages entrepreneurs like America.